Hey, Sonny here. Today I want to do a lesson on a song by the Beatles. It's called "I Want You." She's so heavy, and we want to focus on the main chord progression, which is the intro. Um, and the progression is very cool. It's based on D minor. There's some walking bass notes and some passing notes, but it goes back to a drone note, which is the F note. So it's kind of cool. It uses a different dominant seventh chord, so you have a good grasp of what the dominant seventh chord sounds like with this chord progression. Um, at the end of the video, I'm also going to cover Motley Crue's. I guess I would say Motley Crue's respect for this song, and they did a version of it within their own songs called "Slice of Your Pie," and they took a piece of "She's So Heavy," and they put it into the song "Slice of Your Pie" as a tribute to the Beatles. So it's no secret that the Beatles is well regarded in terms of music creativity within the music world. So, and John Lennon is just a genius in terms of putting guitar parts together. So we want to kind of honor that and focus on that. It'll be fun. I'll try to do it in a way that you will understand. All right. So first thing I want to talk about is that my guitar right now is tuned to half step down from standard E. So your string is E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and E flat. Okay. So the recording on Abbey Road, which is where "I Want You, She's So Heavy" comes from, is in the standard tuning E. So just keep that in mind. If you want to play along my guitar, you'll tune the guitar down half step. If not, you can just do whatever I show you. Whatever I show you, if you play the guitar in standard tuning, you just play half step down, and then you'll be exactly what I'm showing you. So let's get right to it. So I'm going to get myself closer to the camera so you can see my fingering. What I'm doing is I'm going to show you in the middle section right here so you can get a good understanding of how the chords, how the notes are related to each other. And then I'm going to show you the exact way to play it on the open string position. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, before I start, explain the notes to you. So let me go and play for you one time. The exact way it's being played on the recording, and then we'll take a look closer into the analysis of the voicing and the chord progression. All right. So here's "I Want You, She's So Heavy." Again, my guitar is tuned half step down, and the recording is original recording is standard tuning. All right. So this is what it sounds like. Alright, so let's break it down onto the voicing. So the main thing you want to know is that this intro part is in the key of D minor. So if you play a D minor chord in the bar chord, we'll explain the fifth position right here so you can see better. So the chord is A5, D7, G7, B6, and E5. So that's a D minor chord. Alright, so now all the chords, you keep going back to this two notes right here. You keep going back to that G7 and B6 note. So what we have is a D minor interval. So you got a D note at the G7, and then you have the sixth fret, which is the F note on the B string. Alright, so the F note is the minor third of D. So you keep going. So the chord progression goes back to those two notes. Okay. And then the bass note goes like this. You got your 5th fret, which is a D note. And then you have the F note at the 8th position, 7th 8th fret, A string, and then you have an E note, 7th fret on the A, and you got this passing note. So basically, you have the 8, 7, and 6 on the low E string, which walks down, lands on the B flat, and then you walk down half step into A note. So that's the bass note. Again, B, F, E, passing note, down to B flat, into A. And the timing is 6/8, so you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's the timing of the song. So every time you play the bass, you keep going back to that same note. So now, if I play exact same thing I play in the open string, which is the right way to play, if I play it in the bar chord at the D minor position, you'll see better how those notes are related together. So let me play it for you one time in this position. So those are the chords. You can hear it. It keeps going back to the same 2 notes I was telling you about. The G5, the G7, and the B6. So the first, you got the B minor. And then you do the same. Basically, you keep the B minor. You're only changing one note. Instead of playing the 5th fret on the A string, you play the 8th fret on the A string. And you notice that that's all it is D minor with just one note difference. So you're using your pinky, you play the 8th fret on the A string. You're still playing the D7, G7, and a B6. Now the next part, you do the same thing, but this time you play the E7th dominant chord with the flat 9. So what you have here, you're playing A7th and a D6, and those same 2 notes I was telling you about. You got your G7 and B6. Alright, and this is a dominant 7th voice, and you can hear the first 3 notes. You can hear the dominant voicing there. And then he does something like a passing note, like I say, walk down on the bass on the low E string from X7 to 6. And it plays again at the B flat 7th, B flat dominant 7th chord right here. See the B flat dominant 7th chord, you have low E6, A8, your index bar down, you cover the D6, and then you have the G7 and the B6. Remember, keep going back to those same 2 notes. So you got that B flat dominant 7th, but you still have those 2 notes covered. And the last chord is A augmented 7th. You basically, it's a D minor chord, but you're not playing the D note on the 5th fret. You play the 5th fret on the E string instead. So you got a low E, A, D7, G7, and B6. Alright. Why is it A augmented 7th? Because you have your A note. Actually, you got 2 A notes right here. You got the E5 is an A note. D7 is an A note. And then you have the G7, which is a perfect form of A. What we have here on the beat now on the 6th fret on the B string. That's an augmented 5th. So it's like basically a perfect 5th with half step up. It's basically, it sounds like. So if you play the A power chord, and if you play the on the perfect fifth on the power chord, you play a half step up. That's the augmented fifth. So that's what it is. So those are the chords. Again, it's the genius of John Lennon is that you have those pivoting notes, those two high notes, and the bass note is shifting, but you have this a very unique sound to it. The chord progression is just so cool. So again, now I'm going to show you how to play in the right position in the open string. It's the exact same chord voicing I show you, just playing different position. All right. So here how it goes. The first part is the D minor. All it is an open D minor chord. You get an open D string, second fret of G, B3, and first fret on a high E string. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So after you play that, you will play the D minor with the F bass note. So now you're playing the D3, G2, B3, and first fret on the high E string. So far we have this D minor. So D minor, D minor with the F root note, and you kind of switch up your finger a little bit. You'll play the second fret of D string and first fret on the G, and you keep B3 and first fret on the high E together. Just play those 4 notes, okay? So that's an E7th with the flat 9th, okay? So once you play those 4 notes, you play this the bass note. I show you the bass passing note walk down. Now this time you play a 3, 2, 1 on the A string. So that's the same thing I showed you earlier on the low E string, but we'll play it right here. So 3, 2, 1 on the A string. And now we are at the point where we play the B7th dominant chord, right? So he goes. Alright, so what I'm doing is I play this after I play the passing chord, 3, 2, 1 on the A string. Play D3, G first, G1, high E1, use your pinky and play B3, and then G1 with your index finger barring down. Okay, so far we have this D minor, D minor with the F at the bottom, E7 flat 9, and then bass note passing note, walk down to B flat dominant 7, and ends on the A augmented 7, the last part, which is open A string, first fret of G, second fret of G, B second fret, high E first fret. Alright, you can walk back, just continue playing. So basically you can go, you start the whole thing again. Also, I hope you really appreciate the genius of John Lennon in terms of the chord progression, how he puts stuff together. So that was one of my favorite chord progression by the Beatles. it just draws your ear in because you want to hear it to resolve. The dominant seventh chord will give you this feeling that it's not resolved. You could just keep hearing it over and over until it resolves to something, back to the D minor chord. All right, so now let's just for fun. I'll show you the Motley Crue version from this song called "Slice of Your Pie" song, and it uses at the end of the song. It pays tribute to Beatles and uses the same chord progression. Now, with Motley Crue is tuned to low. Everything is tuned down whole step. Okay, so to make things sound similar, I'm gonna show you exactly what I show you here, like the Beatles song. I'm gonna play it in the same key, but I'm playing like the Motley Crue version for "Slice of Your Pie." Okay, here's how it goes. All right, so it's similar to "I Want You So Heavy," the Motley Crue song does, and it uses dominant seventh chord. There's some slight changes here in the notes. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's the same timing, 6/8. But it uses dominant seventh chord just like it does in "She's So Heavy." So that's why both songs sound similar, because they try to resolve itself when chords play. So the way that Motley Crue song goes, that you'll play the D minor ninth chord, or D ninth chord. So you have the D5. I'm sorry, A5, D7, G7, and with your index finger, you play the B5. Okay. You got a D ninth, and they play this D7th sharp ninth chord, and you have the A5, D4, G5, and B6. It rains out, it doesn't resolve itself, so you're looking for, keep going until it resolves itself. The dominant seventh chord is interesting because in the dominant seventh interval, the first three notes here, you have the major third interval, you got a D, and you have the F sharp, which is the major third of D, and then you have the minor seventh, which contradicts to the major third. Now you have a minor interval, so you got this fifth fret on the G string, on the C note, which is the minor seventh of D, all right, and you add a sharp 9 to it on the B string on the 6th fret. You get this really cool chord here. It's kind of bluesy and jazzy. All right, now once you play that, you do the exact same thing, whole step up at the 7th position. This is the E7th, E dominant 7th with the sharp 9, just like I do the same shape. Nothing changes. Just play exactly what I show you, half step before and whole step down, and just move whole step up like that. All right, and then you moved up 1.5 step. You do it in 10th fret now, exact same chord. Now this one is called F dominant 7 sharp 9. It's a shiftable chord. So, all right. So once you get to that chord, it's going to resolve, and then you go back to the D ninth chord. So resolve itself. Okay. So if you do a little more distortion, it's going to sound like this. All right, so now let's hear what it sounds like. I'm gonna play that part again from the Beatles song so you can hear it. Okay, so I hope this is interesting for you as much as it's fun for me to learn this. I love this chord progression. It gets your ear going to listen to what the dominant seventh chord sounds like, and listen to how it's unresolved and try to resolve to a more resonant chord. All right, so thanks for watching. See you next time.